Attention breakdowns are when somebody is either letting in too much information, or what we call porous attention, right? I'm overwhelmed by how much information is in the environment, or so much is going on, or I'm just feeling so weak and overwhelmed that everything is weighing down on me. No offense to those in the trauma camp, but a lot of people that talk about all of their traumas today put themselves in this category constantly, where it's just too much. I just can't handle it. I've got to escape. I've got to go to your happy place. I've got to go to a safe place where I can just remove the triggers, right? And then I can find a way to center myself. That is often a deterioration in that category, in the asset skin, in the empath skin. We'll talk about that. The other deterioration is in tunneling or in hyper-focusing. And that's exactly what it sounds like. You're looking through a tunnel, your senses get turned off, your sensitivity gets turned off. All there is focus on one particular point of attention. Now, to understand this, there's a couple of ways of looking at this, and I think these are so cool. But the first one is very simple. We could go back a long time, again, hundreds of thousands of years, or look at the animal kingdom, but there are a couple of ways that the eyes function in general, in nature, but we can reduce it to what the functions might be if we have to find food or look for ways of surviving. So the first one might be a distributed form of attention. I'm looking at the horizon in the distance, okay? And when I do that, it's a soft gaze. My attention is distributed, my peripheral vision is engaged, and I'm taking in an extraordinary amount of information, of data. The other one is when I get close up. Maybe I saw the animal in the distance. Maybe I go in for the hunt. Or for you vegetarians out there, you find a berry tree out there and you go to pick some. So you get closer to the thing that you got to attack. Okay, you found your food, now you got to go pick it, pluck it, kill it, whatever it might be. And so then the attention starts to narrow, right? The hunter starts to come into play here. And the vision finds a clear focal point. But the eyes actually do this. And this is, I mean, if you hold up your finger, or, well, it won't work if you look at mine. I'm in 2 dimensions for you. But when I do it, I can look at my finger right here and everything else is out of focus. Or I can look just past my finger at the camera's in focus, and now I can see the full periphery, but my finger is no longer in focus. These are the 2 sides of the attention axis or spectrum. Again, we'll talk about that interplay under the skins. But these 2 are correlated, and we could call it the axis of attention or the axis of consciousness, because not only do the eyes do this, but our mind switches and flutters between these 2 brainwave states: attention, alpha states, and awareness, theta states. And these are not exclusive states, but the brain flutters back and forth between these 2 on a regular basis. The training process of meditation is one where we actually find a state of coherence and stability within that. I hold focus for a little bit longer. I sustain awareness for a little bit longer. And at high levels of energetics and Qigong practice, these 2 merge where you're able to hold both states at the same time. Very cool stuff. And so we see then how the mind starts to break down under these pressures. The story is told by what the eyes are doing, right? The eyes become fierce and focused and tunneled when I try to resist and focus on the problem. So I'm overwhelmed, and what do? I organize myself into a single point. I take all of my energies and harness them in one point of focus. Or I reduce that and I just am feeling everything and it's too much and it's overwhelm. I almost gave you guys the positive attributes there in a second, how to utilize them. But it's one of these 2 ways. And we can easily see the negative impacts. When I focus like this, I lose awareness of what's going on around me. It's very easy to see in the case of self-defense or of martial arts, because as soon as tunnel vision happens, my peripheral dies. I stop sensing, feeling, adapting, noticing, and it's just one thought process. And that's going to be binary. Either it works or it doesn't. And if it doesn't work, it's because you're not noticing anything else that's happening around you. And on the other side, when you can't organize your attention, it's just a flood of information. It's complete overwhelm. And so the eyes will either do this, absolute focus, which If it's done to the detriment of your awareness, it's tunneling, okay? It's a failure. And then the other side of it is I'm just taking in too much, I can't organize myself, and I implode.